Would you believe it? As you can possibly see on camera, the sun is back out here at Daytona for the 2019 edition of the 24 Hours. But even so, the weather has been absolutely extraordinary once again. Again, we've had almost all sorts of extreme weather. But it's not just that that's been going on, it's been extraordinary. James, up in the commentary box, why don't you give us a summary of what's been happening since our last update about an hour and a half ago?
Yeah, I thought you were going to compliment me, Scott. Never mind. So, let's talk Applewood again, shall we? Let's talk Applewood, because they have recently been in for their next major pit stop, and so once again the order is kind of offset because of that. They are, by all accounts, net lead, despite the fact that they're in second currently.
Yeah. Just quickly, we've got a car in the pit lane. Just who's that in the pit lane that's getting a penalty, I believe?
It is that looks like the 115 to me, which I think we already covered. The 1110 also in the pit lane. So the 1110 being one of the lower cars. The 115 was...
That was Clive Emerson, engineer.
That was the engineers, of course, yeah.
Auctioneer, sorry.
That was the auctioneers, yeah. And so the 1110 N138 Racing just in the pits. The auctioneers getting... I guess we're going to dive over there. Getting a penalty for causing a red flag incident down at turn 6, unfortunately, and so that was our first red flag incident of the race. Actually, kind of ended up being a bit of a saving grace to a lot of these drivers, because at that very moment we just had the mother of all showers in the space of like a minute. It was madness, and has really just been one of many case studies as to how crazy the weather has been in this race. Nobody can tell what's going on, although if the weather report is to be believed, that was like the final last hurrah of wet weather at Milton Keynes on this Saturday afternoon. Blue skies light the track above, and we're expecting dry conditions now right until the end of the race. Let's go back to the order, shall we, though? Just quickly,
we've got a car in the pit lane. Who have we got currently? It's the 110 in the pit lane. It's just just mind give us a reminder who that is?
Yeah, so the 110 was N138 Racing. They just came in. They're just coming out. They've not really been part of the big order of things, sadly, but still going. And to be fair, that's a fair point that we should say that everyone is still going, despite all of the drama.
Yeah. With some of the drama, of course, we had ultimate drama with a red flag, of course. It turns out the red flag that we had just very recently, roughly about 10-15 minutes ago at the time of recording.
Yeah, caused by the auctioneers, as I already covered. I just want to warn drivers, no speeding in the pit lane, please. We don't want any more penalties, of course, being delivered out to the drivers. But yeah, going back to the order story, so Applewood should be in the lead. When we last actually left Facebook Live, we missed one of the biggest points, actually, in that Team Bandits, or Bandits in front, we had Boyd Wayne saying how good a job Archie Elliott did in the car. We didn't quite realise how good a job he did until he rejoined the track. He jumped 2 teams, 6 Helmets Racing and HP Racing. He kind of left reeling by how good a job Elliott had done in these super changeable conditions. And Boyd has continued with a pretty decent pace. They are now kind of falling off at a rapid pace from Applewood, who had that recent pit stop, of course, but they are well in the fight for the podium in D-Max in Sodi. It is the same situation that we came at you with a couple of hours ago. Oh boy, the wet weather has only helped Brentford Banter in their aid to do as little pit stops as possible, but the battle for the podium still very, very much on. The likes of Team Camo in there, TGS Racing 2 looking to work their way back up the order. Gone. All of these people in with as much chance of taking second and third position as possible, so a wide open battle in the podium for Sodi. First place, you are going to have to pray to whatever gods may be up there for a miracle, I feel, because Brentford Banter have just been outstanding. There's no other word for it.
Just also as well, it was a very dramatic point, because we had, just with that shower, just talk about the red flag that was out there, because we had an instant up at turn 6, but he brought the race to a complete halt, did it not?
Yes, that is the point of a red flag.
Well, obviously, yes. But
from what we understand, the auctioneers, we believe that the shower that really really started to hit down, at least around our commentary box. Literally seconds after the red flag was called. We believe it started down the far end of the circuit. That caused the track going into turn 6. Remember, it's a downhill braking zone, so very difficult and tricky on a dry track, let alone a slippery track. And we think that slightly caught out the auctioneer's car when careering in. And thankfully, the major report there is that nobody was hurt, and indeed everyone was able to continue just fine, but it did lead to the auctioneers picking up a penalty for a little bit of reckless driving, sadly.
So let's take a look at the action we can see on track. We've got somebody actually heading into the pit lane straight away, I just noticed, shooting in for a scheduled stop. So let's take a look and see who that is. It is a D-Max, it's the 113. Just a reminder who the 113 is for us.
The 113 is, it looks to me like one of the front runners actually. What's my timings update? Excuse me. So the 113 is actually, great timing, our race leaders, the Bandits in front. And so Team Applewood going to retake the overall lead of the race. Get my words out. Interesting to see whether they end up back in second place on exit, or whether the undercuts from the two teams behind them, Six Helmets
114
and HP Racing, see whether they can't do anything themselves.
I've just had as well, just one of the marshals down here, just to quite drastically, 114, which is one of the D-Maxes, can actually be brought in for a blown exhaust apparently. So that's,
oh my goodness, that's the FEC Karting Manchester team. They've already been in the barrier. They've already had a black flag. They do not get a break, these guys.
It's not been a great afternoon so far for these guys, has it?
And they've got good pace as well. That's the worst thing about it, is these guys, by all accounts, should be up there, battling for maybe top 5 at best. Real shame.
Okay, good stuff. Let's have a quick chat with the Giant. Just jumped out, of course, for Bandits as well. Bring him in front of the camera for a second. We talked to him before the stint, and it's looking pretty treacherous in terms of the weather conditions, but afterwards, how was that out there?
Yeah, it's going good now. The car seems to perform better in the wet, so hopefully more rate comes down and we can keep the lead that I think we still have.
Because we didn't realise just how good a job Archie did in the wet, so how did you find it out there in those conditions?
I was pretty comfortable with it. I saw a couple of drivers spinning and the team were very helpful with saying keep my head, and they were very helpful, so yeah.
Because you've been leading it for a while now, so you're really putting yourself in contention for the win now. This is looking like a really great race for you guys.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it that way to the end, eh?
Good stuff. Go and have a rest and we'll talk to you in a bit. So.
Scott, I've got to cut in actually, because we had a bit of interesting action in the mid part of the circuit. HP Racing, Six Helmets Racing. We were talking about those two battling over for the podium. They've actually just exchanged positions, so HP Racing now up into what was third position. I'm just waiting for the Bandits to rejoin the track. It looks like the Bandits have rejoined in second position. So through that stint, despite falling off a little bit at the end there, Boy Wayne has been able to contain the damage done. The Team Applewood has, blown open the lead, but the important thing is they want to maintain the position. That's what he set out to do, and that is what he has ended up doing. And HP Racing, Six Helmets Racing, the fact that they've been battling all this while, that has only helped them. Yeah,
because it's been pretty key with those two teams pretty much been going back and forth in terms of the battle, in terms of one's been in front, the other trying to take positions. So that really is one of the key stories of the weekend so far in terms of in the D-Max category, watching these two go back and forth. It's been happening pretty much since the beginning of the race, hasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we might see a late charge probably in the second half of this race to try and take down Team Applewood. There is more chance of the lead exchanging hands in D-Max than there is Sodi, most certainly. Not to say that the Sodi battle is any less interesting though once you look outside of that first position. The battle for the podium is wide open. We're talking maybe 5-6 teams potentially in with a chance, and we've got to put this all into context as well. We're 4 hours, 20 minutes into the race. That's over 19 hours worth of racing still remaining, plenty to happen.
Just give us a quick update in terms of kart numbers and who we should be looking out for on camera right now.
So the guys that you really want to be looking out for, I guess, most recently the 101, HP Racing, and the 120 of Six Helmets. Those are two cars that have recently exchanged positions. We also, I think it's probably worth, as I take a little gander look, we'll combine the two words, shall we? Little gander down the order. Worth looking out for the 111 and 104 as well. This is another D-Max battle between Manchester Racing Team and Open Kart Latvia. Open Kart Latvia have had a a really fun time in the midfield, actually. Not necessarily making too much progress up the order, but they're getting into plenty of battles. Remember, one of our European inbound teams, they've heard about the prestige of this event. They want to do as well as they can in this event, and I think if they were to end up in the top 10 by the end of the race, it would be due reward for what has been plenty of entertainment given to us.
So 101 HB Racers making its way now around the final couple of the corners. So they're now up to, I believe, was that our third position they're up to now?
Third position, yes.
Up to third position, and they really have taken quite a big gap now over the battle that we're having with six helmet races just gone past. So all action the first 4 hours of this race so far. Plenty more still to go. Be sure to head to My Laps of a Lifetime. The link will be in the description for you guys. But 5 hours gone now. Still plenty more races still to go. So join us back in about an hour's time. More updates here for Daytona. Well, hopefully the weather will be a little bit more stable. See you then.